Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. It's Vin Robinson here with another Coast to Coast sport moment. And today's moment is a sport that's very dear to me, the sport of football. And through that connection, we've connected with a dear friend of mine, James West. We're here to represent HBCU colleges, the connection that it has to these athletes and how it propels them to go further. Some of these athletes have had great success in two leagues, the NFL, the CFL, and even post-play, they have continued to carry through with the game life after football, and it's still affecting players. It's contagious. It's awesome. The religion of football is something that continues to grow, and we're here to talk about the pipeline. So lay back, chill out, relax, pop that corn, and kick it with us here on the Coast to Coast Sports Show.
You're watching the Coast to Coast Sports Show.
I don't know what happened.
We do.
What?
We know what happened.
I don't know how I was in school. I don't know what was going on. All I know is I never signed a scholarship paper and for TSU.
Hey,
the whole time there.
People are getting in trouble nowadays.
Nowadays you getting trouble. Hey, don't ask, don't tell. I don't want to know.
Exactly.
I don't want to know.
We both can tell that story.
But yeah, so it's crazy that I was supposed to be at Cisco and I just never went. I just went over there to TSU. Never showed up, never did nothing. And then I'm at TSU figuring it out, man. And I'll never forget the Oilers every once in a while would come over and practice on our field. I used to look at them and go, oh, I think I can do that. But I was such a fan of just football in general. And then when you're at a HBCU, you learn the history of the HBCU because I'm coming from Germany. I don't know history about nothing for the most part when it comes to sports. But I quickly learned you need to know because this is a different league. This is a different type of grind. For me, I knew more about Grambling because of their history and all their great players and Doug and everyone else. I knew about Jackson State with Jackie Slater and I knew about Walter Payton and Jerry Wright. You hear about all the greats who come out, all the Hall of Famers. And that's the amazing thing about it is if you really dive into the history of HBCUs, I was amazed at the amount of Hall of Famers.
No, it's
not just guys who were getting in on the fringe, but I mean guys who were some of the best to ever play that position, not one of 20 who ever played that position.
Right.
But I also looked at it as, for me, coming out of TSU and getting drafted in the second round by the Giants, no one really expected much from me. I was almost felt like one of these draft picks that if it worked out, great. If it didn't, okay, we tried. But so it was always a responsibility to show that you drafted me out of this school. I can't go out here and falter because I don't want you looking at the guy coming behind me and think that he can't make it.
Right.
And so that really motivated me. And I also had some of the best advice that was given to me before I went to the Senior Bowl. And I was, of course, nervous. I'm watching all these other guys on TV at Michigan and Ohio State and all these big old schools. And I have to go out there and play against them. And one of the coaches said to me, you are not Michael Strahan from Texas Southern University. You're Michael Strahan, the football player. If you were not one of the best, you wouldn't be there. It's not about your school. It's about you as a football player. You're one of the best, and that's why you're going. And that whole thing just completely changed my mentality. So hard work trumps everything. Desire trumps everything. And that's why analytics in football don't work like they do in baseball because you got 11 guys out there who really got to want it. And
no, absolutely.
Good against left-handed.
And even for me growing up as a kid, the first quarterback I ever seen, and my whole family is a sports family, and I watched Joe Gilliam.
Oh yeah,
with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, and he was slinging that rock. You know, and I think he went to Tennessee State, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And he had them high white socks on, and he was skinny just like me, and I was sold after that. And then
I
from
thought you
there,
stole that from somebody else.
I was sold after that. I seen Joe Gilliam, and then from there, from the Vince Evans to Doug Williams to James Harris, the Briscoe, all down the line, man. I always just kept tracking, and I always had a heavy appreciation for those guys open up the doors, right? Because now when I'm stepping into the door, you can't lock the door on me. So
but that was always the thing. Like you and Doug, I mean, you guys played a position that, for me, I'm gonna go out and I can find 100,000 other defensive linemen, you know, to like have an example of. You guys have very few examples, and it's kind of it makes me wonder what the NFL could have been. Had they not looked at African American quarterbacks as if you weren't smart enough, you weren't talented enough, you know. And in a lot of ways, to be honest with you, they still do that.
Right.
They still do it, yeah.
Still kind of do that. I ain't gonna even sit here and lie to you. I just see the words that are used, descriptions that are used, and you get that like sense that but there's always a but.
But
for you guys to pick a position that is completely not something that you see every day and have to make it work, I mean, I take my hat off to you for that, because you have to have a lot of foresight and a lot of confidence in yourself to do that.
Yeah, well, let me say this first, Doug, before I let you go. Doug, let me say this first. Like, you had talent, Mike. I mean, you had 19 sacks your senior year, and you was double teamed like every year.
But James, I didn't know what I was doing. I was literally y'all think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I had no idea. It was, a quarterback sack is important. I just got to get him before he throws it. Okay.
Right. I wasn't.
But other than that, I'm running around like, go get the guy with the ball. Who got the ball? Just get the guy with the ball.
That's funny.
That was how
a period
I
of time, I didn't keep up with that either, because when I played at the end of the year, they gave me this ball with I had 29 sacks. He had like more sacks than that, like his first season. You know, than I had my whole career. But I was a linebacker, but that was in that case.
Strahan.
Yeah.
Strahan, what you guys don't know, like when West was playing in the CFL, hey, now, would you enjoy this? Every time you have a sack or make a tackle, they play a song, Wild Wild West.
Oh, he's like a baseball player walking out there to your own theme
every time he made a play, they played the Wild Wild West song.
By Kumo D.
Kumo D.
That was not my idea, I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes I wouldn't even, if I was close to the tackle, they'd make the song. So it had nothing to do with me. I'm just
he running up there, and they're gonna play the song anyway.
And I started to get on the sideline and said, man, why they keep playing this song? Man, we can't block this dude.
Well, I know you know Elfin Payton then.
Oh,
yeah, Alfred Payton, yeah, swag.
So listen, so Doug, I'm glad you brought that up. So Alfred Payton went to Grambling too as well. And so on our team at one point, we had 4 guys that got inducted to the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. And 3 of those guys are HBCU guys. It was myself, Tyrone Jones, who played at Southern, and it was Alfred Payton. So 3 of us were HBCU linebackers, and nobody in the history of the Canadian Football League at one time has played in those positions, because we played the 30 defense that got on at the same time. But Damon, on the other hand, he played with a team where he played with Warren Moon, Tracy Ham, himself. Who else is that?
Matt Dunnigan.
Matt Dunnigan. They had like all these guys. It's almost like it's quarterback you. So if you go to if you go to Everton and play, you're gonna go to the Hall of Fame based on the legacy of what.
Hey, you know the funny thing is too is when I first came in the league, it was Kyle Rich Holloway was in the league, J.C. Watts, Turner Gill, Raphael Cherry, Bernard Curls. It was a whole bunch of brothers. Man, like I said, back in the CFL, it used to be like damn near, 3 brother quarterbacks on each team, and now it's changed a little bit now, because now this NFL is like giving us the pocket passers, and they're taking all the guys who are athletic now.
You know today, you know who Condre Holloway would be?
Arizona's quarterback,
Kyler Murray.
Yes.
That's exactly who he is.
That's definitely him.
You know,
when you call that one, Doug.
And I say this.
Somebody was asking me, like, okay, who would you be in the NFL? I said I would be a combination of
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson and Holmes. He said that you're Mahomes, but you run like your brother.
Yeah.
Because I'm the third leading rusher in the CFL history.
Man, he's the only guy I know.
How the hell? Hold on.
Ain't that a quarterback now, Mike?
All these yards?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna answer your question.
2 billion yards, and he's the third leading rusher in the history.
But let me tell you
I
that.
am not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not
Hey,
worthy.
no,
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why right quick. No, I'm gonna say that first. Let me tell you why.
With Randall Cunningham.
This dude, when he run, his extreme body changes. So his upper torso would be one direction, and then his bottom section would be another direction. You don't know what area to attack because you will always miss one. And he was like, "Go!" I like, "Hey, man!" And he literally be running and laughing at the same time.
You know, it's amazing for.
No, it's cool to see the new generation now.
No, it's amazing to sit here and listen to you, Damon, because today when you look at the top black quarterbacks in this league, right? Could you imagine how many guys that the NFL passed on that should have been playing in this league?
Yeah.
And Michael said something earlier that is still there, and it is because I used to be in them scouting rooms, so my blood pressure went up in many days.
Yeah,
right.
and one of the guys right now, when I think about Deshaun Watson and Trubisky, I'm sitting in there. And they was talking about Trubisky. Trubisky threw 900 bubble screens over at North.
Right.
900 of them. And I told him, I said, nah. I said, I'm telling him, I said, no, Deshaun Watson. He said, why? He can't play quarterback. I said, let me tell you something. I said, all he ever done was won a national championship, and if he had 5 more minutes, he'd have won 2 national championships.
Right.
I said it's winning. And I think
he can flat play.
No, if you measure the two careers today, it's Deshaun Watson, hands down.
Yeah.
But think about this, you guys. Think about if the NFL never did make that transition to the athletic quarterback and give him that opportunity. Look who will be in the CFL today. Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Kaepernick. You name it down the line, they will all be in the CFL balling. And our league will be, crazy watch because of the quarterback play. But the fact that we're so thankful to see the generation, and you're starting to see more athletic quarterbacks that are two-way players, can run and throw, are going to these passing schools, and they're learning the passing game. And so the opportunities, we're coming to take over, right? So that's what you're seeing now. There's going to be more coming.
If they did not adapt the running quarterback, I'd still be in the league. What you out there chasing? All of a sudden, that sucker pull it away from you. You like, okay, it's about time to pack this up. I done been out here too long. These jokers are getting away with nothing better than a quarterback who's just gonna sit there and take it. And Doug, it's interesting because Trubisky. First of all, you move up. They moved up to take this kid. You take him over Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, and I think a lot of times, in my opinion, because when I watch my Giants, I think about this about our GM. Likes to act as if he knows something that no one else knows about a player. He's going to find a diamond in the rough. And I'm going, you don't have to find a diamond in the rough when we always picking in the top 5. Get somebody who you really – apparently it ain't working because we picking in the top 5 all the time.
Right.
You don't need a diamond in the rough. You need somebody who's at least got some kind of track record you can look at and feel justified that you made the pick.
Right.
But Trubisky was not that kid. No. They passed up Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And I always say about Deshaun Watson, I say he is the best. He's the best quarterback, young quarterback in the league right now who, in my opinion, has not won a Super Bowl, who will win a Super Bowl.
But he got nobody to play with.
He has nobody to play with now, so I don't know if he's going to win it there in Houston, but he's going to win him one.
Well, think about this. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson. Nobody wanted to draft Lamar.
Yeah, right.
You had Ozzie Newsome, you had a Harbaugh, and his coordinator right now saw a plan for this kid. Like last year, somebody say, well, he's such a great athlete. I mean, why would they say quarterback? I say, he led the league in TD passes. I said, that's what quarterback does, right?
Right.
They said, yeah. I said, but just because he can run, that don't mean that he can't be quarterback.
Yeah. They only look at one dimension, right? Instead of saying, I tell all quarterbacks that can run and throw, bro, come to the stadium what God has given you.
You're right.
Running and
Yeah.
throwing. And that's what you have to bring on a daily basis, right? And so with that being said, Lamar, like, he's running and throwing, and he's hell when he's on his A game, man.
But the Monday night game, if he can't run, they don't win.
Oh, they don't win. But he come out there like Willis Reed. I'm like, man, what you doing, man? He talking about he had cramps. I saw him running in the locker room. I know he had cramps because he had to go sit and relieve himself. That's what that was. That wasn't no cramps from like lack of fluids.
Right.
That was that pregame meal that crept up on him. Because he ran out there. Then the way he was running when he came back, I'm like, brother, you don't run like that when you cramped up. No.
yeah.
But
He
Dave,
might
I
have
do
the
know
reels.
what
He might have the reels coming.
yeah, he got that ribs cramp because he's squeezing something. But Dave, I do like the fact, I love what you just said. Come to the stadium with what God gave. I love that. I wish you would have told me that years ago, man.